Inside this packet is one single Lego piece. Yeah. So today I'm going to build this, the Lotus submersible car from James Bond by DailyWeeklyBuilds bricks. And well, what's different about this one is that there aren't any physical PDF instructions or anything, it's a video. So I have to watch along the video and kind of build it along with him, which is interesting. I'll see how that goes. I've not done that before, but I've got all my parts ready, and apparently there are 4 slightly different variations of this car that you can make. Obviously the regular one, and the submersible, and some others as well. So this rebrickable model doesn't use that many pieces. I mean, it's mostly plates and all this stuff, and this is just a car that my brother made, so yeah, that's going to have to go sadly, because it uses the parts from this, and then there's just a few random bits I ordered whilst getting this. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, because yeah, there's not a lot here, but that means it won't take me long to build either, which is always a nice bonus. Now, I'm hoping I've got all the parts here, because I briefly looked at the video, and then I also looked at the parts inventory on Rebrickable, and I noticed a couple things didn't quite add up, and that somebody had said the same thing in the comments. So hopefully I've got everything I need here. Okay, so this is as far as I've got, before realising that I don't have all the parts, because the parts list is not correct. So I'm going to have to watch the video, find out which parts I'm missing, check if I have those. If not, order them, then maybe wait a few days and then carry on building. So okay, so I carried on building just to see how far I could get before I couldn't go any further, and that's it so far. I can't build the front because it's missing parts that weren't listed in the inventory, which is pretty annoying, I'll be honest. Here you go, you can see the basic design taking shape. It is a 6-wide vehicle. It can fit a minifigure inside, although weirdly enough there's no steering wheel or controls included. I prefer the submarine version, so that's what I want to build. But now that I sit here, I'm tempted to get the parts to do it again so I can have a regular version and a submarine version. But after the hassle of this, just getting this far, I'm not sure if I can be bothered for that, I'll be honest. But yeah, so I'm going to have to find the parts that I do need to finish building. So I managed to go just slightly further, trying to find out what parts I was missing, what I was not, and I'm almost there. Almost. I just need 3 more parts, which I don't have at the moment. One is a Technic plate to hold this bottom part, kind of on there, on the front. So that's how that would attach. And I just need 2 1x2 black plates to fill in those gaps there. And then we have the normal version of the car done. But like I said, the one I really want to build is the submarine version. Alright, so it's been a couple days, and the missing part has finally arrived. I managed to find some other things in my collection, but one of them I didn't have. So I had to order it. And it came! Inside this packet is one single Lego piece. And there it is, the missing part is on there. It keeps this kind of front bit attached to get that shaping. That's it. Done. The standard version of this car is complete. And now it's all disassembled. Let's get ready to rebuild it into the submarine version. Woohoo! So I'm building the submarine version, and wow, this building experience is not what I expected. You basically assemble the frame in sections and then put it all together, but it's very unconventional, very, well, I don't know if it's clever or just wrong, but yeah, it's very flimsy, very fragile. But I think it's going to be worth it in the end. But yeah, this is not how I expected it to go together. So I finished building the submarine version of the car, and I'm pretty happy with it. It was a difficult building process, and it took longer than I expected. But yeah, there we go. I'm very happy with it. And one thing I didn't finish building was this display stand, which I do have some of the parts for, although I was missing that big white dish piece for the base, so it doesn't really stand up without it. But I'm not going to display this on a little stand. It's, you know, it's perfect as it is. And the only thing I did change was these black clips here should be white, but I didn't have any. This dark grey bracket piece wasn't listed in the parts inventory. Luckily I had one. And then these red pieces here that represent the torpedoes firing out, well, they're not exactly the same ones used in the video. My ones here have the little stem piece, the other ones did not, so that's why they don't fit on this very well. So it was either a choice of leave this pole out and have it like this, because the stem of the red piece kind of blocks the pole from attaching to the cone properly, so it's just loose. But that's okay, it still works, you know, it's firing, it's fine, it makes mine slightly more unique. All I need now is James Bond. Oh look, I do have a Lego James Bond, and yes, I know this represents Daniel Craig and not Roger Moore, who should be the James Bond for this car, but I don't have a Roger Moore James Bond, so we'll work with this for now. Yes, I know this scale is going to be, in fact, I wonder, yeah, because this is 8 wide, that's 6 wide, it's a very low profile, slim car, this is quite chunky for what it is, so the scales might not match up, but let's build this one. Doesn't this instruction booklet just look like a knockoff? I mean, come on Lego, what happened to the old style? I'm just not a fan of this, but It's nice you get a sticker sheet with all the alternative license plates as well. That's pretty cool. And from what I've seen in a lot of reviews about the stickers, how they don't match the same colour grey as the car. I mean, they kind of do in that picture. A little bit, I guess they stand out a little bit, but it's a little deceiving there. But in the real model, they do stick out a bit more, and they're a bit larger. So I might trim the stickers down a bit just so the grey isn't so obvious. So I went on my way through the build, and obviously got the minifigure there. And wow, there's so many parts that go into this set, more so than I expected. Like, it's a really... There's so many parts packed into here, and it's a bit more complicated than I expected it to be honest with you. Like, so many details added in on the underside as well, and yeah, so it's proving to be a bit more challenging almost, especially compared to that well, both of these cars were challenging in their own ways, but yeah, it just wasn't what I expected. Although, just look at the scale, I mean, it's going to be absolutely massive compared to the Lotus. Oh well, maybe I'll have to find a 6-wide Aston Martin rebrickable model to build. And I used the number plate as seen in Skyfall, but of course you do get all these extra ones included as well, which was just a really nice unexpected thing. Like, they didn't need to do this, but I'm so glad they did. I mean, if, you know, am I allowed to complain? If I am, the only thing I would say is I wish these were on 1x4 tiles rather than 1x3. I think 1x4 would be a little bit more useful, but I suppose 1x3 works better for this scale, so that's fair enough. There he is, of course, Daniel Craig. Look at how small he is compared to the car. It's just ridiculous. And I did cut up my sticker sheet slightly just to fit some of the bigger stickers on there, just so the grey wouldn't stand out too much. But I mean, I could have cut them up smaller. The grey is still noticeably different, so I should have been a bit more brave and cut them smaller. My main issue with it is that line in between, like how the printing just doesn't go all the way to the edge. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with it. And of course, for accessories, this part is included as a spare part from the exhaust, and of course Lego wouldn't make guns, right, for their figures. They don't do that, no! So they couldn't give James Bond a gun, of course not. Although maybe the designer did kind of try their best to include this piece somewhere, just so you would get a spare, which you can use as a gun for him. As you can see, I have a custom gun here from Firestar Toys. Look at that, I think this is much more appropriate for James Bond. That suits him a bit better. Another spare part I forgot to mention was this extra microphone piece, so maybe after a hard day's work of defeating bad guys, James Bond can do a bit of karaoke. So if we put the two cars side by side, as you can see, the Lotus is just, it's very small, but again, it is 6 wide, this is 8 wide, it's a low profile car. This one isn't as much. But yeah, the scale doesn't work, so like I said, I will have to find a good rebrickable model for a 6-wide Aston Martin DB5, and then hopefully that'll compare a bit better. But I suppose really I need to get a custom Roger Moore Lego minifigure for this car instead. Alright, so now I understand why this car doesn't have a steering wheel or any controls or anything, because there isn't any room after all. You really have to lay the figure down pretty low to fit the roof on. But I mean, it works. Now I know the visibility isn't the best, but I promise you, he is in there. He's just laying pretty far back, you can just about make him out. But with no controls and poor visibility, maybe it's just on autopilot. I'm sure it's fine. He's James Bond after all, he's got it all figured out. But for the Aston Martin, he does have a steering wheel and a gear lever, he's got some more controls there. You can fit 2 minifigures in the front. It does have backseat suggestion, although I don't think a regular minifigure is going to fit in there. Maybe one with the short or midi legs might fit in there, or you could maybe fit someone laying down. Let's try that. Yeah, so you can't really sit a minifigure in the back unless you make it a convertible, which you can, I suppose. I'm pretty sure there was an Aston Martin DB5 convertible model, or you could always make that work. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad look, I guess. It works. You know, if you've got a second one of these sets, you can make it a convertible, because that car did exist. I did just Google it. Let me know in the comments which one of these cars do you prefer, the official Lego set or the rebrickable model by DailyWeeklyBuilds Bricks. And are you a fan of 8-wide Speed Champions, or are you like me where you miss the days of the 6-wide ones? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Do 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 do.